this for most of us is the easier side. Is it true? How many of you feel that the first one was easier? And how many of you feel this one was easier? Wow, that's 50-50. Great. Close your eyes, breathe. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently open your eyes. For those who want to continue here, do that. For those who want to bend forward, take a deep breath in. Breathe.
না, এদিকে ঘুরে, হ্যাঁ, মেরুদণ্ডের পেছনে এটা থাকবে সোজা। আবার দম লম্বা নিয়ে ছাড়তে 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 বাঁ দিকে পেছনে। আপনারা একটু খেয়াল করবেন, এরকম চেস্ট যেন খুব টান টান হয়ে যায়, বুকটা যেন সোজা থাকে। মেরুদণ্ড, আশিস দা আর এলিজাপুর যেমন মেরুদণ্ড সোজা, এই যে এখানে মেরুদণ্ড সোজা, ঠিক এরকমটা হবে। 3, 2, 1। আবার আস্তে করে আমরা ফিরে আসছি। এই ছিল আমাদের বসার আসন। এরপরে আমরা শুয়ে কিছু আসন করব। আমি শুয়ে আসন করার জন্য আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি যোগ সংঘ, বাংলাদেশ যোগ সংঘের আশিস দা এবং এলিজা চৌধুরীকে।
ধন্যবাদ। আমাদের যেটা হবে এখন, আমরা সবাই উপর হয়ে শুয়ে পড়ব। এটার নাম হচ্ছে মকর আসন। পা দুইটা পরস্পরের কাছ থেকে একটু ফাঁকা থাকবে, উপর হয়ে শোব। উপর হয়ে শোয়া অর্থাৎ পেটের উপর শুয়ে পড়া। পেটের উপরে আমরা সবাই শুয়ে পড়ব। 2 হাত থাকবে কপালের নিচে। এটার নাম হলো মকর আসন। এটাকে একটা বিশ্রাম আসন। এতক্ষণ ধরে আমরা অনেকগুলো আসন করছি, কিন্তু আমরা কেউই বিশ্রাম করি নাই। এটা এখন যেটা হবে, এটা কিছুক্ষণ আমরা বিশ্রাম নিয়ে আমরা চলে যাব ভুজঙ্গ আসনে। ভুজঙ্গ আসন যেটা করব, আমরা যেন নাভি না ওঠে সেদিকে খেয়াল রাখবো। পা দুইটা প্রথমে জোড়া করি, হাত দুইটাকে 2 কাঁধের ঠিক নিচে নিয়ে আসি। আমরা একটু খেয়াল করব কিভাবে হচ্ছে। এরপর আস্তে আস্তে শ্বাস নিতে নিতে মাথাটা তুলি,
और इसी तरह से धीरे से पेट के बल लेट जाइए। मकर आसना। आपके शरीर पे जहाँ कहीं भी आपको दबाव या खिंचाव महसूस हो रहा है, उसे मुक्त कर दीजिए और विश्राम की स्थिति में श्वास प्रश्वास की क्रिया करिए। अभी लेट के करने वाले आसन के लिए सबसे पहले अर्धभुजंग आसन। दोनों पैरों को आपस में जोड़िए, दोनों हाथों को आपके सीने के पास लेके आइए। एल्बो पे कोहनियों के सहारे से श्वास भरते हुए ऊपर की तरफ, कमर के निचले भाग पे दबाव को महसूस करिए। कंधों को फैलाइए। श्वास को छोड़ते हुए सम स्थिति में आ जाइए।
আবার দুই পা আস্তে আস্তে
ឡើងថ្លែងសម្រាប់កថាមេណៅ
উপর দিকে তুলবো উপরে তুলেই 5 শ্বাস প্রশ্বাস স্বাভাবিক রাখবো
More importantly, yoga promotes the messages of peace in the world, which is in line with India's principle of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which means the world is one family.
ដោយដែលយើងទាំងអស់គ្នាបានជ្រាបហើយថាយូហ្គាគឺជាការហាត់វឹកហាត់ផ្នែកផ្លូវកាយនិងផ្លូវចិត្តតាមបែបបុរាណឥណ្ឌាដែលយូហ្គានេះមានដើមកំណើតពីប្រទេសឥណ្ឌាពាក្យថាយូហ្គានេះគឺមកពីពាក្យសំស្ក្រឹតគឺមានន័យថារួបរวมវាតំណាងឲ្យសំយោគគ្នារវាងផ្លូវកាយនិងផ្លូវចិត្តគំនិតសកម្មភាពការអត់ធ្មត់ការពេញចិត្តភាពសុខដុមរមនារវាងមនុស្សនិងធម្មជាតិនិងវិធីសាស្ត្រដ៏បរិសុទ្ធចំពោះសុខភាពនិងសុខុមាលភាពសំខាន់ជាងនេះទៅទៀតយូហ្គាគឺលើកស្ទួយនៅសារសន្តិភាពក្នុងពិភពលោកដែលស្របតាមគោលការណ៍របស់ឥណ្ឌាដែលមានឈ្មោះថាវិសុទ្ធិវាកតមបកម្មដែលមានន័យថាពិភពលោកគឺជាគ្រួសារតែមួយ
It is let us step back for a brief moment to the 69th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September 2014 when Prime Minister Modi had urged the world community to adopt an International Day of Yoga. Subsequently, within 75 days of the proposal, the United Nations General Assembly on December 11, 2014 had adopted a unanimously resolution declaring June 21 as the International Day of Yoga from then Indian tradition which now belongs to humanity. This practice has been embraced wholeheartedly by millions of people across the world. In the first place, and stress life that we lead today, yoga offers a means for achieving mental tranquility and a better life. I am delighted to note that the Cambodia is second to none and that there is a huge following of yoga in this pristinely beautiful and peaceful country.
ខ្ញុំសូមនិយាយថយក្រោយបន្តិចចំពោះសម័យប្រជុំលើកទី69នៃមហាសន្និបាតអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិនៅខែកញ្ញាឆ្នាំ2014 នៅពេលនោះលោកនាយករដ្ឋមន្ត្រីនរិន្ទ្រាម៉ូឌីបានជំរុញឲ្យសហគមន៍ពិភពលោកប្រកាន់យកនៅវេទិកាអន្តរជាតិបន្ទាប់មកក្នុងរយៈពេល75ថ្ងៃនៃការស្នើសុំនោះមហាសន្និបាតអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិនៅថ្ងៃទី1ខែធ្នូឆ្នាំ2014បានអនុម័តសេចក្តីសម្រេចជាឯកច្ឆន្ទដោយប្រកាសថាថ្ងៃទី21ខែមិថុនាជាទិវាយោគៈអន្តរជាតិចាប់ពីពេលនោះមករហូតមកដល់ពេលនេះយោគៈត្រូវបានមហាជនទូទាំងពិភពលោកបានចាប់អារម្មណ៍និងគាំទ្រលើការហាត់យូហ្គាតាម
महानुभावहरू अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय योग दिवस 21 को अवसरमा सम्पूर्ण मानव जातिमा सुख शान्ति समृद्धि र सुस्वास्थ्यको हार्दिक शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु। संयुक्त राष्ट्र सङ्घले 2014 डिसेम्बर 11 मा हरेक वर्ष जुन 21 लाई अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय योग दिवसको रूपमा मनाउने घोषणा गरेपछि हाम्रो समृद्ध परम्परा एवं जीवन दर्शनसँग सम्बन्धित रहेको योगले विश्वव्यापी सम्मान प्राप्त गरेको छ। जुन 21 लाई अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय योग दिवसको रूपमा मनाउन मित्र राष्ट्र भारतले संयुक्त राष्ट्रमा राखेको प्रस्तावमा नेपालले समर्थन गरेको थियो। यस वर्ष योगा फर ह्युम्यानिटी भन्ने अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय नाराका साथ 8औं अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय योग दिवस मनाउँदै आएका छौँ। योग शारीरिक अभ्यास मात्र नभई निश्चित नियम विधि र प्रकृतिमा रही अपनाउने वैज्ञानिक जीवनशैली जीवन पद्धति तनावमुक्त शान्त मन रोगमुक्त स्वस्थ शरीर आघातमुक्त चित्त विकासमा योगको महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहन्छ। नियमित योग अभ्यासबाट व्यक्तिको स्वास्थ्यको अवस्था सुदृढ हुनका साथै व्यक्ति तनावबाट मुक्त भई कार्य क्षमता वृद्धि हुने रोग प्रति क्षमता बढ्ने प्रतिरोधात्मक क्षमता बढ्ने व्यक्तिमा सकारात्मक सोचको विकास हुने अनुशासन र आन्तरिक ऊर्जा प्राप्त हुने आत्मज्ञान प्राप्ति तथा आत्मप्रेरणा हासिल भई काममा प्रभावकारिता आउने लगायतका सकारात्मक गुणको विकास हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा अनुभवहरूले देखाइसकेको छ। विशेषतः नसर्ने रोगको रोकथाम उपचार र पुनर्स्थापनाका लागि योगको महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहन्छ। त्यसैले हामीले निरोगताका लागि योग भन्ने भाव सबैमा पुर्याउनु जरुरी छ। विविध आसन अभ्यास साधना ध्यान आदिका माध्यमबाट मन र शरीरलाई जोड्ने प्रक्रिया योग हो। श्रीमद् भागवत गीतामा भगवान श्रीकृष्णले अर्जुनलाई कर्मयोग ज्ञानयोग भक्ति योगले मानिसको जीवनलाई सार्थक बनाउँछ भनी गर्नुभएको मार्गदर्शन दिव्य उपदेशको रूपमा रहेको छ। हिमालय पर्वत श्रृङ्खला
those were diverse glimpses of celebrations of International Day of Yoga. We were getting those visuals. Prime Minister of Nepal, Sher Bahadur Deoba, was addressing the gathering. Before that, we went to Cambodia, Bangladesh. We also went to South Korea and other parts of the world, tracking the rising sun and the celebration and practice of International Day of Yoga. Two special guests continue to be with us, yoga expert Madhu and Nimisha. Nimisha ji, I just for a moment want to go to Prime Minister's address. When he spoke about that, now with this expanse of celebration, yoga is not just part of life, it is a way of life. How do you see his message?
Yes, so it is not just like that you have to add on the yoga in your life. It is like how you live your life according to what the yoga says. It's just like that you have to be in harmony. You have to be connected with everyone. You have to first connect your body, your mind and soul together. It is just all about that how to go in a rhythm. Like yoga is just like a rhythm. Like a river, it's just like flows. Like your life should flows like this.
Nimisha Singh, yoga expert, and Madhu Khurana is also an eminent yoga expert. They are here in our Delhi studios to basically also tell us about the various asanas that we saw. I mean, you were here with us when we went live to all those different locations across the globe in different time zones. I think some of them were a little precarious and unique in nature. If you could just briefly describe some of the asanas that you
What
saw.
I just catch there in Kuwait, the two
Kuwait
girls,
one, yes.
two girls that are doing the yoga with a blind eye fold. It's like they are just doing it like they just be in themselves, be inside whatever they are doing, whatever they are performing the asanas with the eyes closed. It shows that how to go within yourself. That you don't need to see your body from the outside, from these eyes. From the eyes closed, how can you see your body? How can you feel your body? Each and every part, each and every, if I can go for the anatomy, so how can you, you just go for the muscles by muscles, the joints by joints, how can you just, feel your each inch of the body?
And they were very delicately balancing.
There was putting something in the eyebrow center.
Between brows on your forehead.
Yes. So they were just balancing each and every. It is like focusing. It is all about the muscle-body coordination. That how they are doing, how they concentrating on that particular thing and just moving in a flow.
The learnings from yoga, besides the therapy, besides the legacy, besides the civilization connect, the way of life. This is something. Yoga is a way of life. What does it really mean for a common man to understand? What is this yoga being the way of life?
Yeah, when our Prime Minister said that yoga is not a work of life, it's a way of life. Basically, it means that yoga is not just 1 hour of practice, of practicing some asanas and breathing practices only. When you are even breathing, you're becoming aware of your breath. That is also yoga. When you are doing any action without thinking about the fruits, you are doing karma yoga. And when you are surrendering towards divine, that is bhakti yoga. And when you are reading the scriptures and you are trying to know yourself, that is jnana yoga. So this is, yoga is a way of life. You are living in yoga every moment of your life. Yes.
Right. Also, we're happy to announce that joining us is Suresh Kumar Goel, former DG ICCR, also former Secretary MEA. Warm welcome, sir, and greetings on International Day of Yoga. A short while ago, we were listening to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address, who also leads by example as far as practice of yoga is concerned. He speaks about yoga laying the foundation of global cooperation. How do you interpret that?
Well, that's a very powerful statement coming from the Prime Minister. I see 2 or 3 elements here. Number one, that there has to be, in these days of globalization and the countries are coming together, there has to be some idea, there has to be one element where countries can think beyond their national interests. And to my, the only one thing that can bring people together and the governments, the various countries together is yoga. Where there is no reason involved, where there is no limited interest involved, all it talks about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it talks about global togetherness, and therefore I think the message contains that element that yoga is one idea or one force, I would say, which actually can truly unify the world together, which is what is the idealism contained in our shloka of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is one. And number two is that at the base of this truly peaceful world that we are looking for lies a person who is together and who himself or herself.
And he gives the examples, Prime Minister gives the example of the pandemic, of the conflicts that we are witnessing in the world today. And in that context, then yoga grows in significance manifold.
Absolutely. And therefore, when I was saying that a person should be at peace with himself or herself, that means that peace, that kind of calmness and the capability to be able to with different problems, like pandemic at some level, or the economic difficulties at one level are both individual problems and the global problem. Unless a person is able to deal with the problem, there cannot be a global solution. And therefore, it's important for a person to be creative, to be together and think of solutions rather than how to basically become a slave to the problem. And yoga is helpful in that, because yoga brings the body and the mind together. It helps you think creatively. It helps you keep together your mental faculty.
Right, sir.
There are two elements in the message given by the Prime Minister, both for the individual and the world, where everything comes together. Yes.
Right. So also, if you could just, in a larger perspective, give us a sense, the sort of resurgence that we have seen in the last 8 years, since 2014, when United Nations adopted the resolution led by India. And since then, not only yoga's growing global prominence, but the way India has been leading from the front. For example, the way we are marking the celebrations this year around. The whole vision of Honorable Prime Minister, basically putting India at the high table of diplomacy?
You see, when in 2014 we began to talk about yoga as the kind of spirituality which can bring people together, that happened when, if you recall, there were several global issues facing the world. One of which was not pandemic but economic. There was a reaction to the globalization. There was every country now beginning to think within themselves. And therefore, when Prime Minister Modi began to propound the idea of yoga as supposed to bring people together, the countries together, it immediately found a kind of resonance amongst the leaders. And they thought that yes, we have toyed around with the Western ideas of how to find prosperity. Let us do this now. And incidentally, yoga had already become quite popular even before that. I was DG ICCR till 2013, and we had about 45 cultural centers around the world, along with the different embassies. And in each center, the most important person was a yoga teacher who would yoga classes not in the cultural center, but there was requests and demands from the communities all around.
Yes. In fact, I wanted to ask you, this is a career diplomat, the sense that you're getting, I mean, you must have traveled all across the globe, sir, that one binding factor, I mean, basically how do you see yoga as a force multiplier, and especially in the last 7-8 years? Very quickly.
This is the beauty about yoga. Yoga is popular not just among say the Western countries, but yoga is popular all over the world. And not surprisingly, but even amongst the countries in the Middle East and the Gulf, Qatar, Kuwait, you name the countries, it's basically because yoga is associated with our religion. Now, as we all know, that Islamic countries are, there are different notions of what they will allow to do or be done, and what can't be allowed to be done. But yoga is one which does not create difference, and therefore we found from the ICCR that for us culture became the idea of dialogue. And we found that yoga and dances and the music from India, they became one very, very important connection. all over the world.
Absolutely,
Right.
sir. And we saw some inspiring visuals from Indonesia, Kuwait
Yes,
a
absolutely.
short while ago of yoga practitioners. Sir, do stay with us. We'll be coming back to you for more questions and perspectives. Madhu ma'am, one of the things Prime Minister says is that he talks about yoga as a problem solver. Now today we are talking about yoga in so many contexts, in a personal context, in a health-wise, in the context of society. We're talking about a program which is global, so yoga also in the context of world affairs. What does it really mean for you as an expert and practitioner, yoga as problem solver?
Yeah, basically.
But before that, if we can go across to Mongolia, from where we're getting the latest visuals. We're getting visuals from all across the world. Mongolia is where we're going next to show you live glimpses of yoga practice. In just a bit, we'll cut across to Mongolia where the yoga practice is on. But Padma, the point that you were making.
Yeah, basically there are many techniques in yoga, like we talk about Chitta Prasadana, how to be happy in all situations, that we should be happy with people who are happy, we should be compassionate.
All right. Yes, you can just complete your point and we can then, all right, we'll come to you in a bit, but because you know, this is a rolling broadcast and we are crisscrossing almost all parts of the globe, and up next is Mongolia, and that's how Mongolia is celebrating International Day of Yoga. Let's take a look.
I think, here we are. Good morning. Sound working now. Shall we begin?
So that was Riyadh in Saudi Arabia for you. And before that, we also got you those live visuals from Mongolia, Kazakhstan, Kuwait as well. And particularly, Nimishaji, coming to you, you know, you were watching Sobobui in rapt attention, especially the asanas, the complex postures, the asanas that were, put on display in Mongolia. I mean, that's next level of fitness. Only reiterates, even in Middle Eastern countries, yoga is extremely popular.
Definitely. This was what we have just seen. It is the Ashtanga Vinyasa series, which is actually given by the Patabi Joyce, who was studied with the Krishnacharya ji in Mysore. So this is what we are celebrating in the Mysore, the 8th International Day of Yoga. So that is why they are performing that this asana series. That is an advanced asana series, which actually, build the strength in yourself and give yourself a challenge to what you can do.
So you're challenging your mind and body, basically.
Both.
Yes. And you mentioned Mysore, ma'am. That's where Prime Minister, in fact, led the Yoga Day celebrations from. Significance of Mysore as far as yoga traditions in India are concerned, ma'am?
Yes, Mysore is basically, we can say, it's a cultural state, and it's related to yoga also. Sri Krishnamacharya and many named Patapijos, they were related with that state. And it's very famous for other things also, like Mysore Park and all that kind of things comes in mind, Mysore silk. So it's a rich cultural heritage. We can say, and yoga is a cultural heritage of India, as we all know, and it's connecting the world today. It's connecting all the people of the world, and with yoga, all other countries are also knowing about our cultural heritage, our art and culture. Many of my friends are also abroad in ICCR. They're also celebrating Yoga Day today in Belgium, in Brazil. They're also planning a lot of programs there also.
They're yoga practitioners and they've gone abroad.
Yeah.
What kind of response do they talk about when they reach out to people who've never heard of yoga, for instance? What kind of response do they get in countries abroad?
All the people know about yoga today. There are no countries who are not aware about yoga. Everybody knows about yoga. Everybody is enthusiastic about yoga. Everybody wants to do yoga, wants to know about yoga. People are practicing asanas, pranayama, and they also want to learn about the spiritual aspects of yoga, not just the physical and mental. Everybody wants to be physically fit, mentally calm and relaxed, and at the same time they want to evolve also spiritually. That is the gift of yoga, I will say, India to the world.
Yeah, I was coming to that point, that what according to you is that connecting factor, that X factor, especially when we talk about the Western part of the world? Do they actually look at yoga as brand India?
Yeah.
More as brand India?
Yeah. Basically they know yoga as India. India is yoga for them. So actually it is promoting a culture also, and it is a good cultural exchange. When we come to other countries, we go to other countries and we talk about yoga, they want to learn about yoga, and they practice yoga, and at the same time they are interested in our country's other art also. So it is actually, India is becoming the brand ambassador, I would say.
So, and yoga, speaking a little bit more, Nimishaji, in futuristic terms, yoga is future.
Yes, definitely.
And I think pandemic has taught us that we have to look at the other alternative medicines, rather therapies, natural ways. We are grappling with challenges like climate change, etc. So yoga is the solution, it's the future.
Yes, we can say that we have that line, the precaution is better than the cure. So not to go to the disease. So the yoga is just like the precaution of everything that we have seen, that in this pandemic, not everything is offline. The online people just connected together with all over the world in one place. This is what the yoga teaches. Yoga is just not about the asanas and the pranayams and the meditation. Not only that, it is just the connection. It has no language, no words, but again it has some deeper connection of it. And in the future perspective, you can see in India as well, you have seen many faces, because they in out of India, in the foreign countries, people like the Indian face to teach yoga. Why? Because
this is a very interesting point that you have raised.
Yes,
they prefer Indian face. Why? Because they feel more connected. They feel yoga first belongs to India.
Yes.
So Indian yoga practitioner is more apt.
Yes, it is what I have listened to from the people around me, and it's not just of this year talk, it's about that from past 7 to 8 years.
It's more relatable.
Yes, they like Indian face, Indian teacher to teach yoga, because
more about your experiences about yoga, but let's go across to Sri Lanka, where the visuals are coming of Yoga Day celebrations. Let's cut across to Sri Lanka.
On behalf of the High Commission of India, Colombo, a very warm welcome to the reverends from Param Dhamma Chaitya Pirivena Ratmalana, under the auspices of its Chief Priest and Director, Most Venerable Dr. Maitape Vimalasarathere. Our chief guest, His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. Our guests of honour, including Honourable Dr. Susil Premajayantha, the Minister of Education, Honourable Vidura Vikramanayaka, Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs, Honourable Kanchana Vijayasekara, Minister of Power and Energy, Honourable Roshan Ranasinghe, Minister of Irrigation and Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs, Honourable Members of Parliament, including Mano Ganesan, M.A. Sumantiran, Palani Tigambaram. And we also would like to, of course, say a very warm welcome to His Excellency Vinod K. Jacob, the Acting High Commissioner of India, as well as the other esteemed dignitaries present, students and yoga enthusiasts gathered here this morning to celebrate the 8th International Day of Yoga. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are all aware, addressing the 69th session of the United Nations General Assembly on September 27th, 2014, the Honourable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, urged the world community to adopt an International Day of Yoga. On December 11th, 2014, United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution declaring that June 21st each year as International Day of Yoga. The resolution was supported by more than 170 countries, with Sri Lanka being one of the co-sponsors of the resolution. Since then, every year, the International Day of Yoga is celebrated worldwide on the 21st of June with great fervor. Yoga, like Ayurveda, forms a part of the shared heritage of India and Sri Lanka. Indian diplomatic offices in Sri Lanka, the High Commission of India in Colombo, the Consulate General of India in Jaffna, the Consulate General of India in Hambantota, and the Assistant High Commission of India in Kandy have been celebrating International Day of Yoga with the participation of the Sri Lankan leadership and public since 2015 with great fervor. Average footfall for the event over the years has been in thousands. There was also enthusiastic participation at the virtual events held in 2020 and 2021 when there were restrictions in conducting physical events due to COVID-19. The theme for this year's International Day of Yoga is Yoga for Humanity. We would like to commence this session by invoking the blessings of Buddha, and we would like to kindly request Most Venerable Mahasangha of the Param Dhamma Chaitya Pirivena to now commence the prayers.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava.
आज इस कार्यक्रम का जो एक महान स्वरूप जिनके कारण आज यहाँ प्रस्तुत हो रहा है, ऐसे हमारे स्वामी जी के भक्त माननीय नितिन जी गडकरी, मंच पर उपस्थित सभी अधिकारीगण और स्वामी जी के सर्व शिष्य भक्तगण, आज अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिन 8वां योग दिन है। यह योग दिन का महत्व जनार्दन स्वामी जी ने 1973 और 74 में प्रतिपादित किया था। नागपुर के महापौर, उनको उन्होंने इस समय बताया था कि आप नागपुर में हर साल योग दिन मनाइए। वो हो पाया नहीं पाया अलग है, किंतु उसका बीजारोपण स्वामी जी ने किया था और 2014 में सितंबर महीने में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिन की घोषणा हुई और वह हमारे लिए बहुत बहुत सारे स्वामी भक्तों के लिए महान दिन था। और उस दिन ही डिक्लेयर हुआ कि 21 जून 2015 को पहला योग दिन।
Yoga continues. And those visuals of coming in from Kazakhstan, celebrations of International Day of Yoga continues. Special coverage on DD India in collaboration with mission and embassies abroad. Over 75 countries, the missions have put together programs that represent.
And the venue is the forecourt of popular Astana Opera Theatre. At least 1,000 yoga enthusiasts performing those asanas in absolute sync, which includes some celebrities and local dignitaries reportedly. In fact, the State Opera and Ballet Theatre, the Astana Opera, again, Shubedu, we do know, is one of the popular hotspots there. It's the largest theatre in Central Asia. Astana Opera is constructed according to the best classical architectural traditions, and again something very special for the fact, Shubhendu, that this is the venue that the Kazakh government has chosen to display, I would like to say, India's mighty soft power on display.
Absolutely.
On the land of Kazakhstan.
Absolutely, and it is in line with the magnificent cooperation and collaboration by the embassies and missions, Indian embassies and missions across the world. Over 75 countries joined together with the common thread of yoga, and those visuals coming in from Kazakhstan. So you see, at 3 a.m. India time, we started with the easternmost countries, Fiji, New Zealand, and now we slowly moving towards Central Asia and the Middle East.
We stay with our rolling broadcast of Guardian Ring, One Sun, One Earth, non-stop marathon coverage at the crack of the dawn. In fact, much before that, that's when we started it, at around 3 a.m. India time. And this is going to continue till 10 p.m. In the evening tonight. We're going to take a very, very short breather. But one fact that remains is this cannot get bigger than this. Not only the marathon broadcast, but the way yoga once again acting as a force multiplier, uniting the whole world. And that's the Indian fabric brand, Yoga Brand India. And with that, it's a wrap up from both of us. In fact, after a very short breather, viewers, don't go away. This is our exclusive world coverage. Preeti and Anil are going to join you with a special guest, yoga therapist and acharyas in our studio.
And words of Prime Minister Modi, yoga is no more a part of life, it's a way of life, and that's what we're trying to represent through our presentation. But we'll close this segment for now, but our exhaustive coverage continues through the day. Stay with us.
The changing world of news. Headlines that you wake up to. News that shapes your day. Stories that matter to you. The latest and most accurate updates. A fresh start to a new day. The Breakfast News, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. on DD India.
Namaste India.
Namaste land.
Marhaban ila al-Hind. Zari India. Salam India. Namaste India.
Namaskar Bharata.
Muy India. Nahnu Hunud. India. Ma Hindi Hasti. Mung Hindian. Salam Hindustan.
We are India.
Well, good morning. That exhaustive coverage on International Yoga Day, the 8th edition of International Yoga Day, also celebrated across the world. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 iconic locations in India and 75 iconic locations in the world being a part and parcel of this particular celebrations of International Yoga Day. The coverage that began at 3 a.m. this morning continues till 10 p.m. It's a long coverage that we have, almost 16 time zones that we cover, 193 countries participating in this particular festival of celebration, if one would say that, when it comes to life and giving importance to our living. I'm Anil Thomas, and to take you through is my co-anchor Preeti this morning.
Yes, we welcome you again, and time and again we've been showing you celebrations all across the world. We began at 3 a.m. Yes, we've also got you celebrations from Mysuru Palace grounds, wherein the Prime Minister participated with the countrymen, and in doing so, as always, he inspired the country, the world again, towards the benefits of yoga. And here we are presenting Guardian Ring, the idea envisaged by the Prime Minister, wherein he talked of how we need to monitor the movement of the sun and also get to the live coverage, the celebrations at the very crack of the dawn in every country where the celebrations are taking place. We've got collaborated efforts by the different Indian missions across the countries abroad, and we are getting you the coverages, we're getting the celebrations. It's the 8th International Day of Yoga today, and we are getting you this exhaustive non-stop coverage till 10 in the evening. We're also getting in insights, we're also getting in analysis by special guests in the studio. Today morning we are joined in by Miss Nimisha, and we are also joined in by Miss Suchi Mohan. Both of them are yoga experts, and let's elaborate with them further on how important is yoga for us and how are we using yoga as a way of life. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us this morning in the studios. When we talk of the Prime Minister himself said that yoga is not a work of life. In fact, it is a way of life. Miss Nimisha, if I would want you to respond to this, how can a science, to begin with, I would want you to elaborate how has yoga evolved all these years, starting 5,000 years back, as an art. Some call it a form of art, some call it some form of science. Put all this together, how is it a way of life in today's times?
Yeah, so it is like the yoga was here, then it comes down, now it's on the peak. So what we can say that in the starting, like if you can talk about the 5,000 years ago back, so yoga it was just a part of the life. That everyone is doing everything what we are doing right now, and in between it just somehow go back and no one knows about it. But right now yoga is just like what the Prime Minister just says, it's a way of life. What it means, you just don't need to add on this yoga in your life. It's just like you have to live your life according to the yoga culture. So it is just not about the asanas, not only about the asanas, pranayama and the meditation. It is much about it, how to live your life in a healthy and in a very stressless way.
Okay,
yes.
Taking your life forward in a stressless way. Suchi, if I come to you, looking at zero budget, one that's it's not at all it's cost effective, it's zero cost. So is that the big reason that it becomes even more captivating, not only for people in India but also abroad?
It is a big reason. You don't need a particular setup. You need just a mat for you, and that is enough. You just need a teacher, or you can. There are lots and lots of information on internet also. Lots and lots of good teachers are there who are. They have videos also, so you need a teacher, of course, but because you cannot rely on open source of information. But yes, cost effective could be one reason, but yoga in itself, what I say, who practices it, that person only can connect it with this and its effects. Then only if you feel the effect, then only you can proceed through.
Okay.
Many people, like usually youngsters, you can say, or they feel like yoga is boring, but it's not that. If you can feel and connect through it, you can go through it, you can proceed in this.
Alright, as an expert, how do you see yoga? How has it evolved over the years? You're telling us that maybe the younger generation finds it a little boring, but having said that, we've also seen how Miss Nimisha pointed out how the graph for yoga enthusiasm has grown by leaps and bounds in the past few years. So what is it that has led to such evolution of yoga in the last few years?
What I mean to say, because when it comes to young generation, they are initially what I feel through my experience and my things, they are initially they are connected through that asanas part, right? This is their strength, there are things to show about youngsters. They can do advanced practices and this, but when they practice this through years or months, and then when they go through the path, when they connect themselves,
it eventually
with
becomes a way of life.
Yes, then gradually it becomes the way of life.
Well, at this point of
Yes.
time, before we take this discussion forward, we've got the Union Minister for External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar's his reaction on the International Day of Yoga. Let's listen in.
पूरी डिप्लोमेटिक कम्युनिटी आई है, हमारे छात्राएं आए हैं विश्वविद्यालय से, पब्लिक भी आई है, हमारे मंत्रालय के लोग भी आए हैं। तो अभी जो है योग एक किस्म से दुनिया को जोड़ती है कि जो भी दुनिया में संकट हो, जो भी परिस्थिति हो, इस दिन और जब भी लोग जब योग का प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, उनके मन में शांति की भावना होती है।
Well, taking that thought forward, especially when it comes to peace of mind. And Namisha, when one looks at today's times, when we were young, we had this IQ level that was taken into consideration. Then it became the EQ level. Are we now looking at a SQ level, social quotient level, which is of great importance in the age of yoga?
Yes, so when I have first experience about the meditation, it was like when you eat something which is so, like you are liking it, you just said wow. So when I have just first experienced the meditation in my life, it was like the wow moment. So that is how what you say the social SQ level.
All right, ma'am, we'll interrupt you here just for a second. Up on our screens, we have the celebrations wherein Union Minister for External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar, is participating. Just a while back, we heard him say how yoga is important, how it is in fact a way of life. And here we have him joining many others in the celebration of International Day of Yoga, the minister participating and practicing yoga. And here we have the visuals up to your screens, 8th International Day of Yoga being celebrated. And we have people from all walks of life, be it ministers, be it youngsters, be it the common people. We have the entire nation, the entire world together celebrating this way of life called yoga. Yes, ma'am, please continue. We were talking about the SQ level, which we are expected to reach, in fact.
Yes. So it is like that how we can connect to this socially in a very well manner. So this is what the yoga teaches you. So it calms you from inside. It calms your mind. It calms your nature. That is how you can take the very fine steps to go forward in the society. This is what how it can increase your SQ level.
Okay.
And up your screens, we have celebrations coming in from Riyadh, Embassy of India, organizing the celebrations in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. And up your screens, we have the celebrations, the International Day of Yoga. Since morning, we've been getting you inputs, we've been getting you celebrations across different countries.
Roughly around 500 people that you see in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and clearly the mood upbeat, especially when it comes to another iconic location being used there to celebrate the International Day of Yoga. As I mentioned, it's history in the making. You've got 16 different time zones that we are trying to cover in this exhaustive coverage that we are doing. Guardian Ring, One Sun, One Earth, and in that series now hitting the Middle East, from where we'll be getting you visuals over the next 60 minutes on how International Day of Yoga is being celebrated. The theme this year, Yoga for Humanity, being taken forward there by the people of Saudi Arabia in Riyadh.
Now I'd like to welcome Ms. Nauf Al Marwai onto the stage. Ms. Marwai is Saudi Arabia's first woman yoga master and has been awarded with India's prestigious civilian honor Padma Shri in 2018. She is also heading the Saudi Yoga Committee, which is the official organization formed under Saudi Ministry of Sports to promote yoga as well as wellness practice. It is a great honor to have you with us. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, I would like to welcome Mrs. Nauf Al-Marwai for her keynote speech.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Good morning and happy 8th International Day of Yoga. I would like to thank the Embassy of India for organizing this beautiful event and for inviting me today to be part of it. I'm very honored to be here. It is inspiring to see this large participation and the diversity of participants, of course, is reflective of the widespread of yoga. Yoga appeals to everyone from all walks of life. Excellencies, as you know, that Saudi...
Well, visuals there coming from Riyadh on the celebrations of the International Day of Yoga. We've got two experts in the studios who are throwing light on the significance of that particular day, International Day of Yoga, what it means for the people who are practicing it all over, as the Prime Minister stressed on it as the way of life forward.
Yes, we will. Direct attention from the Minister of Sports, Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki Al Faisal, and recently the approval to form certain federations and leagues in new sport yoga development in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I would like to highlight the historical MOU that have been signed with Ayush Ministry and Ministry of Sports last year in the International Day of Yoga 2021 to support the formation of professional standards, develop areas of research and education in collaboration between two countries, and develop yoga in Saudi Arabia. And last but not least, thanks a lot to the Indian Embassy and the Indian Consulate in Jeddah. They have been celebrating the Yoga Day with us since 2015 and doing their best to promote yoga in Saudi Arabia and encourage people to participate in yoga activities. And I wish you all a very happy International Day of Yoga, and practice yoga every day, not just in the Yoga Day. Make yoga a routine of your life. Yoga is beautiful, yoga is wonderful, and yoga is suitable for everybody. Thank you.
And down. Again, inhale up. So we're coordinating the breath with the body. Exhale. Left. Exhale. Both arms. Tall like a tree. Exhale. One last time. Right. Exhale. And left. Exhale. Both arms, and we'll try to hold it up, okay? Stay. 1, 2, press your big toes down. 3, 4, look straight at one point. And this time, open the heart, open the chest, heels down, and bend forward towards your legs. Leave your body loose. Let it go. Imagine you're bringing your ribs close to your thighs. Feel the head lengthening down towards the ground. And then inhaling, keep your arms and your head together. Come all the way up. Bend your body back. Exhale, relax. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms up, bend back. Exhale, bend forward as we go down. Leave the body loose, let it go. Make sure you're not stressing your neck, okay? You want to leave the head loose. And inhaling all the way up, bending back. Strong legs to support your back to bend. And exhale, relax. Last time, inhale up, bend back. Exhale, bend forward as you go down. Deep breaths. Very refreshing for your mind, for your brain, all that blood rushing to the head. And inhaling all the way up, bending back. Exhaling, relax. Are we feeling a bit more awake? Yeah. Let's open now to about 3 feet distance, okay? So 1, 2, and 3. And then again, feet parallel. Right arm up, left arm on your waist. Inhale, you go down. Now how do we know if you're doing this correctly? You want to keep your
to make this asana feel light, joyful, steady. Imagine the lower ribs rolling up to the sky as we take 2 more deep rounds of breath together. To come out, you may bend your knee if you'd like, or keep the leg extended. Big inhale brings you up, back into your warrior 2 base. Let's stay here for a moment. I really enjoy the grounding essence of your warrior 2. Building confidence, building strength. Where are you aiming your path? And releasing, taking our hands to our hips. We're going to bring our feet parallel to each other and just give it a little jiggle. Moving the energy from the base of your spine. Let's do a few circles going one way and a few circles going the other way. Now you're probably going to be facing away from me, but that's okay. Your right foot stays parallel to the outer edge of the mat. The left foot opens out. And maybe bend and stretch a few times because this is a deep external rotation of your hip joint. Just creating space in this crease. When you feel ready, fully extend the front leg, turning the body towards the long edge of your mat and begin to slide your way towards your front leg. You can keep your bottom arm at your thigh, at your shin, but kindly not right on top of your knee joint. Imagine a big rotation of your chest to the sky as you reach the right arm up, and allow your body to naturally sink as deep as it wants to go. Focusing on the outer line of your hips and lower back, and on the inner line of your left leg as you feel a deep stretch in here. Long, steady breath. Let's go for 2 more rounds together. And then coming out either with your leg extended or bending the front leg. Inhale to come up. Finding your warrior 2 pose. Sink into your hip. Front knee right over your ankle. Arms strong. Warrior poses build our determination. Just giving you a bit of strength throughout this very warm morning. And extending the feet parallel to each other again, and then stepping them together. Moving into our seated poses, coming down to the ground. If you need to vary, if you need some support, let us know. You can always roll the back of your mat up to make a little pillow to sit a little higher and more comfy. Good. Legs are extended out in front of you. Now, because of our anatomy, this is going to look different for everyone. Ideally, you have your legs fully stretched out, so much so that your heels lift the ground a little bit. You are extending, meaning you're lengthening through the spine. And for some of us, the hands are going to touch. I, believe it or not, have very short arms. For my height, I don't touch the floor, but that's okay. I'm still allowed to do this. So what I want you to imagine is that you're lengthening the arms actively to the ground like you want to touch, and that you're pushing from your glutes, from your spine to grow taller, and you're stretching through the legs. So even though this is a just sitting asana, it can be very strenuous if you're practicing it actively. But again, if this is a gentle morning for you, sit in the asana, try not to collapse in it, and just find your happy space. Keep breathing. If you don't do anything else today, just breathe. It's also called long sitting or auspicious pose. We are opening our bladder meridian, releasing fear. 2 more breaths. And release your asana, hands under your knees, bring your feet a little closer towards you. The closer you move towards your heels, the deeper you're going to feel the intensity across the inner thighs. So feel free to make this a big diamond shape, or perhaps bringing it a little bit closer to you. Maybe you take a firm grip across your ankles and take this opportunity again to rise in the spine to feel a beautiful stretch across the back of your neck. Some of us are going to fold the hands around the feet and imagine that you're opening the feet like the pages of a book. Great opportunity for some acupressure, again stimulating stomach points across the inner arch of the foot. Now, do I butterfly or do I not? Up to you. Yeah. Different schools, different thoughts. If it makes you happy, take off. Good. I prefer the more static version. Connect to your breath. This is a very grounding asana, connecting root chakra to the earth, giving you steadiness across your day. We're going to bring the knees together and we're going to give ourselves a little hug. If you want to, release into the lower back, gazing down towards the heart. Take a moment for yourself. If you want to float into cosmic egg, you can take your feet off the ground and just find a little tiny planet floating in this big, confusing universe. Keep breathing. When you're ready, let's take a moment of contemplation, sitting on our heels. Now, for some of us, this is going to be very uncomfy. If it's not safe for your knees, please modify. If you want more intensity, for some of us, it's plenty of stretch across the shins. You have the option of tucking your toes under. This is challenging but beautiful for the soles of the feet, and it stimulates acupressure points for your sinuses. You can either stay in contemplation with your hands on your thighs, or if you want to go a little further, I love the combination behind, finding either my elbows or hands in reverse prayer. Feeling a deep opening across the front of my shoulder joint. Move mindfully, choosing the intensity that feels appropriate to you today. Keep breathing through the discomfort, which can be surprisingly intense. for 2 more rounds. And 1. Releasing your asana, come to sit.
Slowly come back to normal position.
Slowly come back, breathing out.
Once more, breathe in.
Bend backwards, breathing in. Hold position for a few seconds. Come out, breathe out and come back.
One more round, breathe in.
Ardha Ushtrasana or the half camel pose.
Come normal,
Helps
relax.
in increasing chest size and lung
Slowly
capacity.
go to Vajrasana
It
position.
improves the function of our respiratory system.
Keep your hands on the knee. Keep
Now,
smiling.
we move on to Shashank Asana.
And slowly open up your leg and keep the hands on the mat. Try to move forward. Slowly move forward.
Shashank Asana is the hare or the rabbit pose.
Chin touch the mat. Slowly come back to sitting posture. Yes, very good. Once more, keep the hands on the floor, the mat. Try to move once more round. Move forward.
Move forward, slowly stretching your hands forward and touch your chin on the ground.
Come back
This
to
relaxing posture which gives a good stress to the spine. It also tones pelvic muscles.
slowly relax both legs forward. Relax, release.
Now we move on to Vakrasana or the twisted pose.
Keep hands on the back and relax your leg. Relax. Normal breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Next one, hold it right leg. Right leg, left leg straight. Hold
Bend
right leg
your right leg.
and right hand back. Left hands up and lock it. Try to lock it and turn your right hand side. Try to look, turn right hand side.
With the left hand, hold the right leg and then turn to your right side.
Slowly look forward and hands up, down.
Come back to position
and release your right leg forward.
and repeat the exercise with the other leg.
Relax. Keep smiling.
This is Vakrasana or the
Left
twisted
leg,
pose.
fold your left leg, left hand back, right hand up, and hold and try to turn back side. Turn your head back.
It's known as a twisted pose.
Twisting your spinal cord.
It helps in reducing belly fat and it increases our spine flexibility.
Look forward.
It strengthens our back and shoulder muscles.
Release your right hand back and release your leg. All of you relax.
Vakrasana, an excellent pose for the back and the spine. Now relax.
Relax.
And then we slowly move on to Bhujangasana or the cobra pose.
All of you sit Sukhasana. Come to Sukhasana position. Normal breathe in, breathe out.
We relax by coming back to Sukhasana.
Breathe in.
in,
Breathe out
breathe
slowly.
out.
Breathe in. Breathe out. We'll go for Bhujangasana and head forward, legs back, and keep your legs close. Bhujangasana. And hands forward, chin touch the mat. Go to the position.
Bhujangasana or the cobra
Both
pose?
hands forward. Lie down and keep your legs close. Close your leg.
Bring your legs
Chin
close
touching the mat.
together.
Both hands forward.
Hands forward, chin touching the floor. Now slowly raise your head and your shoulders.
Yes, right. Keep your hands on the shoulder. Slowly up, breathe in. Only upper body, breathe in. Good. Don't open your mouth. Exhale. Go down. Inhale slowly up.
Bhujangasana strengthens the spine, stretches chest and lungs, shoulders and abdomen, and
Inhale.
with the increasing blood circulation,
Close your leg.
your face gets a radiant look.
Stay there. Slowly exhale. Relax.
That was Bhujangasana or the cobra pose. Now relax, and we will now move on to Uttana Pada Asana.
Turn to your right side. Turn your right.
Turn to your right.
Yes, same direction. Very
Stay on
good.
your back, sleep on your back.
Keep your hands close to your body and both legs close. Close your leg. Close your leg.
Lie straight, bring your leg closer.
Keep both hands side.
Keep both the hands to the side of the body, palm facing down.
Yes. And legs should be straight. When you raise your leg, knees should be straight. Slowly raise your both leg, 30-degree angle. Breathe
Raise
in,
your
hold.
legs to around 30 degrees without bending your knees.
Hold it. Slowly exhale.
Exhale
Both
and bring
legs
your legs down.
bring down. Relax.
This movement
Legs
should
down.
be slow and smooth.
Once
Uttana
more.
Padasana or the raised leg pose.
Once more, the raise your leg up to 90 degree, slow movement. First starting 30 and 60 and 90. Hold it, make it L shape, but keep your legs together.
This posture improves the
Hold
function
it.
of the digestive organs. It improves the digestive
Slowly.
and removes constipation.
Exhale, both legs down. Keep legs down. Relax. Once more, same 90 degree, legs up.
So from 30 degrees leg raise, we move on to a 90 degree
90
leg
degree.
raise, which is now the Ardha Halasana or the half plow pose.
Very good. Hold it. Hold your breath. Slowly exhale. Keep your hands that side. Normal breathe in, breathe out. Now we are moving Savasana. Keep your hands aside and top to bottom the whole body relax.
Shavasana or the corpse pose. The Shavasana is very important for relaxation.
All right, the celebrations of the International Day of Yoga being held at the Indian School, Bahrain, and we've been continuously getting you coverage of the celebrations which have been taking place since morning across different countries in the world.
True.
And this is the idea behind Guardian Ring, the program today, One Sun, One Earth. This was the idea which was put forward by the Prime Minister, and to get you
the celebrations right from the countries where the day begins, and we've been doing that right from the morning. The coverage started at 3 a.m. and it will continue till 10 p.m. We are also joined in by guests. We are joined in by Ms. Suchi and by Ms. Namisha, and we are continuing our discussion also with the guests who are here with us.
Well, exactly. We've also got one guest who's going to join us online at this point of time. We've also got Suresh Kumar Goel, former DG ICCR, joining us online on Zoom. We'll try and get him also in this discussion. But let me come quickly to Namisha and take a view. Namisha, looking at various countries, at least in the Middle East, who are a part and parcel of this particular celebrations. How do you see yoga at least spreading, especially in the Middle East?
In the Middle East, yes. So it is like the unity.
Okay.
You can see the unity in all over the world, like the concept of the 75, 75, 75, right? So it is all about that. We have seen this this whole rising the sun from the Japan till the end. So it is, we can see that everything is same.
Okay.
We have seen the similarity in everyone. So this is what we can say that I have mentioned before it as well. It is a Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, right?
Yes.
So it is what all about the all world together. We are seeing this, the one earth, one sun, one world.
All right, we'll take that thought forward to Mr. Suresh Kumar Goel. He's also joining us through Zoom, and he is former DG, Indian Council for Cultural Relations, and former Secretary, MEA. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this morning. When we talk of International Day of Yoga today, the Prime Minister specifically talked of the power of yoga, how it not only brings inner peace, but also brings peace amongst the countries. Global peace is what the Prime Minister hinted at, he envisaged today also, and earlier also he's put forth how inner peace leads to peace among the countries. What is your evaluation of this? How do we take the idea of yoga forward in bringing peace among the countries, given the geopolitical equations between the countries that are existing in present times? Sir, I would request you to please unmute your device.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
You see, the whole idea of cultural diplomacy that India ICCR does is to really establish a dialogue amongst different people, different societies, which can be completely independent of phenomenon which divide. And in that process, when I was in ICCR, I found that certain things that belong to our culture play a very, very important role. And yoga is one of them. In fact, if you look at the different icons from India who unite people are yoga, music, dances, and of course Bollywood. But Bollywood is something which doesn't require any support from the government. They have sufficient resources. Yoga is one phenomenon which cuts across all kinds of religious lines, and that's a very, very important part of India using yoga to establish the dialogue amongst different societies. Peace is one quintessential idea underlying yoga. Yoga begins with bringing peace to your mind, putting it together with your body, so that the peace becomes a message amongst people. And when people begin to talk about peace, nations begin to talk about peace. After all, nations do what people want to be done. And I think that is the idea when we have this International Yoga Day, to use this piece of yoga to bring the global peace. And therefore, I think when the Prime Minister mentioned one sun, one earth, yoga, international yoga, it's a very powerful message coming from India, which has been there for the last several decades. But the Prime Minister made it an instrument of what India represents globally. So kudos, yes.
Mr. Goel, when Prime Minister today stresses on yoga being the way of life forward, what's the message that the world would pick from that particular line that the Prime Minister has given?
You see, eventually, what is important is that if we need to get rid of conflicts, differentiation, discrimination, the process has to begin from people and societies. And therefore, Prime Minister's idea of yoga bringing peace, yoga being the harbinger of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the principle of the global family. It all begins with really our one single individual putting body and mind together and realizing that there is no option but working together with other entity. After all, that is what, when we say Tattvam Asi Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, that is the idea that individual is at the base, but all the individuals need to be a part of the same society. So that is a message. I think that is the important part of the message from the Prime Minister.
Okay, Mr. Goyal, thank you and appreciate you joining us all the way on Zoom there for our audiences. It is a pleasure having you in this special broadcast. Well, coming back to the two guests in the studios, let me come back to Suchi. Now, Suchi, looking at the way forward when one looks at yoga and the business behind it, how do you see that evolve? Because anything that happens, especially in today's times, also has a market for it to grow. How do you see the business of yoga grow?
You can see business is growing, and yoga is a new business. It has got a lot of potential, especially when everyone is getting aware about it. Awareness is increasing every day, more and more, and thanks to the government, and everyone is supporting it. It is a good cause. And what do you also, it is good for not only for, again, we are not talking about only physical health here. We are talking about our spiritual health, our mental health, our emotional health. It's an all-round health. And if money comes with it, it's good.
All right, there is positive time. Namisha, very quickly we'll have in your closing comments. Let's take that thought forward from where Ms. Suchi just left. Your idea of yoga from here on, 75 years, the country is Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we are celebrating it, and also we've seen how yoga has evolved over the years. From here, the way forward from here, what do we expect? The collaborated efforts that have been witnessed in celebrating yoga this day, the 8th International Day, etched in our memories forever?
Yes, so basically that we have seen that we have celebrated any kind of festival. This is a festival for all over the world together, that everyone is celebrating together with a full of enthusiasm, and everyone has the opportunity to get it in it as a teacher, as a practitioner. So this is what our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji helped us to grow this from the 2014 till today, that we have seen that.
It's very important, Namisha, when you say living in teachings, in that particular phrase, when one looks at living in teachings and how does one learn from yoga, what do you think is one of the most captivating thing that yoga brings, especially to the Western world, that it is taken it by storm?
I just want to mention one line, like whatever you see, that the world can see. So whatever you are practicing, it shows in yourself, and when anything positive someone sees in you, they want to get it.
All right, so like music, there are no boundaries, and we've seen how yoga too has transcended the barriers, the boundaries. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us this morning in the studios and sharing in your insights today. All right, so that brings us to the end of this slot when we talk of this particular coverage of the International Yoga Day. But as we told you, this will continue through the day. Up next, Ramesh and Munmun will take you through the celebrations across rest of the world as well when we talk of the celebrations. And here we take your leave.
Well, we'll take your leave here. The continuous coverage that we mentioned that began at 3 a.m. this morning continues till 10 p.m. tonight. So it's going to be a new set of guests and anchors taking over the discussions and taking that idea of yoga for humanity forward. That's it from me and Preeti here. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Take care.
The changing world of news. Headlines that you wake up to. News that shapes your day. Stories that matter to you. The latest and most accurate updates. A fresh start to a new day. The Breakfast News, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. on DD India.
Namaste India.
Namaste land.
Marhaban ila al-Hind. Zari India. Salam India. Namaste India.
Namaskar Bharata.
Mui
Nous
India.
sommes land.
Nahnu Hunuda India. Ma Hindi Hasti. Mung Hindian.
Salam Hindustan.
We are India.
Your window to rising India. India's voice on global platforms. Latest news from India and around the world. In-depth analysis of global headlines. Watch DD India in your country. Available for downlink in Central Asian countries. STTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 17 at 93.5 degrees east. HDTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 10 at 83 degrees east. For technical details, scan here. Switch to DD India now. As the day unfolds and news and events take shape, we get you complete coverage of every news breaking in, tracking new developments as they happen. Midday Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. on DD India.
Hello and welcome. It's just after 10 a.m. India time and you're watching the continuous coverage here on DD India of the International Day of Yoga 2022. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran, and with me is my colleague Munmun Bhattacharya.
Good morning to you, Ramesh, and good morning to all the viewers. This is the mega exclusive coverage on DD India of the Guardian Ring for Yoga. From 3 a.m. Indian Standard Time, DD India began streaming to you yoga demonstrations from more than 75 iconic locations from around the world, starting from the Fiji in the east and moving westwards. We are forming the Guardian Ring for Yoga. This is a one-of-a-kind celebration of the Yoga Day. This hasn't been seen ever before, and this hasn't been conceptualized the way it has been conceptualized now. And the theme this year is Yoga for Humanity, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke in the morning about how yoga is not just about an individual, it is about the whole humanity, and we are seeing that with people of various nationalities celebrating Yoga Day. There are yoga demonstrations happening at iconic locations the world over, and also in 75 iconic locations in India, in tune with the spirit of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And we are reinforcing the concept of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, the world is one family, and we are showing the unification power of yoga. And joining us is a very special guest in the studio. Dr. Sanjay Wadhwa, Professor and Head, Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation in AIIMS, is with us. So welcome, Dr. Wadhwa, to DD India. You know, your opening thoughts on the way the program has been conceptualized this time around.
Right,
before that, let's go
before
across
that, just a quick programming note for our viewers. So we'll take you to 4 locations over the next 1 hour. We are starting with Tashkent in Uzbekistan. Let's cut live to Tashkent for the International Day of Yoga celebrations happening there as we speak in Uzbekistan.
Bir necha soniya turishga harakat qilamiz.
Breathe in while breathe out, slowly come back.
Nafas olib, keyin nafasni chiqarib, qo'llarimizni tushiramiz va oyog'imizni.
If difficult, you can put here.
Agar bu mashqni bajarishda qiynalsangiz,
and try to make a balance like this.
Oyog'ingizni to'pig'ini sal pastroqqa qo'ysangiz bo'ladi.
Breathe in while breathe out, slowly come
nafas
back.
olamiz va nafas chiqarganda sekin oyog'imizni hamda qo'llarimizni pastga tushiramiz.
Next we'll practice Pada Hastasana.
Keyingi asanamiz Pada Hastasana deb nomlanadi.
Pada Hastasana good for digestive system. Improve the flexibility on your back muscles.
Ushbu asana bizni oshqozon tizimimizga juda ham yaxshi ta'sir ko'rsatadi va ayniqsa bel mushaklariga yordam beradi.
If anybody already suffering back pain problem, please avoid forward bending.
Agar kimningdir belida juda ham kuchli og'riq bo'lsa, iltimos ushbu mashqni bajarmang.
Both hand put on your thigh. Breathe in slowly, raise your both hand.
Sonimizga qo'yamiz. Ularni sekin-asta ko'taramiz tepaga.
While breathe out, slowly bend forward, try to
Nafas
touch your palm on
chiqarganimizda
the floor.
sekin-asta pastga egilamiz va ushbu qo'llarimiz bilan iloji boricha pastroqqa egilamiz.
Breathe in slowly, raise your both
Yana
hands.
chuqur nafas olamiz va qo'llarimizni tepaga ko'taramiz.
Come back.
Oldingi holatga qaytamiz.
Next we'll practice Ardha Chakrasana.
Keyingi asanamiz Ardha Chakrasana
Give the
deyiladi.
distance from the half feet in the both legs.
Oyoqlarimizni orasida masofa bo'lsin.
Both hand put on your waist.
Ikki
Thumb back
qo'limizni
side, finger outside,
belimizga
finger in the
qo'yamiz.
front side. Open your eyes.
Ko'zimiz ochiq holda
Elbow maximum back side. Breathe in.
qo'llarimizni iloji boricha orqaga
Slowly bend back side.
juda ham sekin-asta orqaga egilamiz.
Breathe normal.
Nafas olishimiz normal holatda.
Breathe in. Come back.
Nafas chiqarib
Relax.
asl holatimizga qaytamiz.
Next, we'll practice Trikonasana.
Keyingi
Give the
asanamizni
distance 2 to 3 feet in
bajarish
the both
uchun
legs.
ikki oyog'imiz orasidagi masofa kattaroq bo'lishi kerak.
Right feet on right side.
Chap to'pig'imizni o'ngga buramiz.
Raise your
O'ng
both
to'pig'imizni
hands
o'ngga
180
buramiz. Ikki qo'limizni
Breathe in, while breathe
tomonga
out,
cho'zamiz.
slowly bend your waist right side.
Nafas olganda sekin asta
Left hand upside, look at your left palm.
qo'limizni pastga tushiramiz va ikkinchi qo'limizni tepaga ko'taramiz.
Breathe in, come in center.
Nafas olib yana
Change your feet.
birinchi holatimizga qaytamiz.
Record
Endi
asana.
oyog'imizni almashtiramiz. Chap to'pig'imizni chapga buramiz.
Breathe in, while breathe out, bend left side.
Nafas olganda chap tomonga egilamiz va o'ng qo'limiz tepada, chap qo'limiz, chap oyog'imizni iloji boricha to'pig'igacha borishi kerak.
Right hand upside, look at your right palm.
O'ng qo'limizga, o'ng
Come
kaftimizga
in
qaraymiz.
center.
Yana o'rtaga qaytamiz.
Come back. Next, we'll practice sitting position, sitting Dandasana.
Endi
Take a seat.
asanaga o'tiramiz. Oyoqlarimizni oldinga cho'zgan holda qo'llarimiz, kaftlarimiz
We practice
yonimizda bo'ladi.
Vadhasana. Bend your both knee.
Ikki tizzamizni bukamiz
Joint your feet.
va to'piqlarimizni birlashtiramiz.
Interlock your finger.
Panjalarimizni birlashtiramiz.
Hold your toe.
Va ushbu
pull
qo'llarimiz
inside.
bilan to'piqlarimizni mahkam quchoqlab olib,
Spine should be straight.
belimiz to'g'ri bo'lishi kerak.
Close your eyes.
Ko'zlarimizni yumamiz
Try to touch your knee on the floor.
va iloji boricha tizzalarimiz o'tirgan joyimiz, ya'ni o'sha kovrikka yoki yerga tegishi kerak.
Reduce the pain on your knee, on your lower abdomen, and stable your brain, stable your mind.
Ushbu asana bizni diqqatimizni jamlashga, keyin tizzadagi og'riqlarni kamayishiga yordam beradi.
Inhale, breathe.
Chuqur
While
nafas
breathe
olamiz.
out, open your eyes, slowly come back. Leg straight.
Nafas chiqarganimizda ko'zlarimizni ochamiz, yana oyoqlarimizni cho'zamiz oldinga.
Next, we'll practice Vajrasana. Bend your both knee and try to sit on your heel.
Keyingi asanamiz Vajrasana deyiladi. Tizzalarimizni bukib o'tiramiz, tizzalarimizda.
If anybody have knee pain and arthritis problem, please avoid this position.
Kimdadir artrit yoki shunga o'xshagan tizza bo'g'imlaridagi og'riqlar bo'lsa, kuchli og'riqlar bo'lsa, iltimos bajarmang.
Flat your feet, open your heels, sit on your heel. Close your eyes, both hand put on your
Ko'zlarimizni
thigh.
yumamiz va ikki qo'limizni sonlarimizga qo'yamiz.
Vajrasana improve your digestive system, giving the strength in your calf muscles.
Ushbu asana ovqatni hazm qilish tizimini yaxshilaydi.
Come back.
Ko'zlarimizni ochamiz.
Next we'll practice Ardha Ushtasana.
Keyingi asanamizni bajarishga o'tamiz.
Ardha Ushtasana good for your lungs problem and good for cardiovascular system. If anybody have heart related problem, lungs related problem, and training your spinal cord.
Ushbu asana bizni o'pkalarimiz uchun juda ham foydali hamda kardiovaskular mashq deb hisoblanadi. Ayniqsa umurtqa pog'onasi uchun juda ham foydali.
Come on the knee.
Tizzalarimizga o'tiramiz.
Both hand put on your buttock.
Ikki kaftimizni belimizga qo'yamiz.
Elbow inside, open your lungs properly.
O'pkalarimiz iloji boricha ochilishi kerak.
Open your eyes.
Qo'llarimizni orqaga burganda,
Breathe in slowly, bend back side.
ko'zlarimiz ochiq holda asta-sekin orqaga egilamiz. Ushbu holatda bir necha soniya turishga harakat qilamiz.
Breathe in, while breathe out, come back.
Nafas olib, endi nafasni chiqarib, yana oldingi holatimizga qaytamiz.
Next we'll practice Ushtasana, both feet come on the toe.
Keyingi asanamizni bajarish
Keep
uchun
that distance, parallel distance your knee and feet.
oyoqlarimiz orasida